Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going to be diving into the world of cybersecurity.
Ooh, exciting.
Yeah, it is. With ZScaler's Q1 2025 performance report, you've shared their SEC filing and press release with us,
Yes.
and we're going to break down those key insights to figure out what's really going on behind the scenes.
All right, it's a fascinating look at a company that's becoming increasingly vital, I think, as more and more of our lives move online.
Exactly. So for anyone who might not be familiar, ZScaler is essentially a cloud security company. Think of them as a giant shield, protecting your data and devices from all those nasty cyber threats lurking out there.
They're like the guardians of the internet, working behind the scenes to keep businesses and individuals safe.
And they're doing a pretty impressive job of it. Their revenue grew by 26% year over year, hitting $628 million for the quarter. They even surpassed their own projections,
Wow.
which is a good sign they're in high demand.
It definitely indicates a strong market appetite for their services,
Yeah.
but what I find truly mind-boggling is the sheer scale of their operation. Their cloud security platform processes over 500 billion transactions every single day.
500 billion. That's more than 60 times the number of daily Google searches. So it's not just about protecting a few websites or emails anymore.
Exactly. This highlights how much of our digital lives are now reliant on cloud services. Everything from financial transactions and healthcare records to our social media activity and smart home devices is constantly flowing through these platforms. And that's where Zscaler comes in, ensuring that data remains secure.
So what does this massive volume of transactions tell us about the state of cybersecurity today? Are we all just sitting ducks in this interconnected world?
I wouldn't say it's that dire, but it definitely underscores the crucial role cybersecurity plays in our lives. We're generating an unprecedented amount of data, and that data is constantly moving across networks, making it a prime target for cybercriminals. Companies like Zscaler are stepping up to address this challenge, but it requires a collective effort.
Right. It's not just up to these companies. It's on all of us to be more aware and proactive. But back to Zscaler. Let's dig into some of their key financial highlights. What jumped out at you from the reports?
Well, aside from the impressive revenue growth, the calculated billings, which indicate future revenue, also grew by a respectable 13%, reaching $516.7 million. And their deferred revenue, which reflects money received for services yet to be delivered, surged by 27% to $1.78 billion.
So they're not just performing well today, they're setting themselves up for continued success in the future.
Precisely. And their profitability is also improving. Both their GAAP and non-GAAP net income showed positive gains year over year. Now, I know these accounting terms can sound a bit confusing, but essentially, non-GAAP figures often exclude certain costs, like stock-based compensation, to give a clearer picture of operational performance. And in Zscaler's case, both metrics paint a positive picture.
That's good news for investors and for anyone concerned about the long-term viability of these security solutions. But numbers only tell part of the story. What about the human side of Zscaler? Are they bringing in new talent, forging strategic alliances, and making moves that signal their plans for the future? Absolutely. They recently appointed a new chief product officer, Adam Geller, who brings a wealth of experience in security product development. This suggests Zscaler is focused on innovation and staying ahead of the curve. They've also formed some strategic partnerships, notably with CrowdStrike and Okta, two leaders in endpoint protection and identity management, respectively. Okay, so they're bringing in fresh perspectives and collaborating with industry leaders. But are these partnerships really game changers or just marketing buzzwords? What's the real impact for their customers?
These integrations go beyond mere buzzwords. They're about creating a more robust security ecosystem. For example, imagine CrowdStrike detects suspicious activity on a device. Okta can then verify the user's identity, and Zscaler can instantly block access to sensitive applications in the cloud, all in a coordinated and automated fashion.
So it's like having an entire security team working together seamlessly behind the scenes.
Exactly. It's about creating a multi-layered defense system that's more effective than any single solution could be on its own. And this approach aligns with Zscaler's emphasis on zero-trust security, a model that assumes no user or device can be trusted by default.
So instead of just protecting the perimeter of a network, they're essentially scrutinizing every single digital interaction.
Precisely. It's a recognition that in today's world, threats can come from anywhere, even from within an organization. And that's where AI comes in, playing a critical role in Zscaler's strategy.
Right. AI seems to be the buzzword in cybersecurity these days. But how is Zscaler actually using AI to enhance security? Is it just hype, or are they really pushing the boundaries?
They're definitely not just jumping on the AI bandwagon. They're integrating AI into their platform to analyze vast amounts of data, identify patterns, and detect potential threats much faster than humans can. It's like having a superpowered security analyst constantly monitoring your network, learning and adapting to new threats in real time.
Okay, so it's like having a digital guardian angel looking out for you online. But with all this talk about advanced technologies and complex threats, what does it actually mean for someone like me navigating the digital world every day?
It means that staying informed and taking basic security precautions is more important than ever. Zscaler's Threat Labs report, which we'll delve into later, highlights a significant increase in threats targeting everyday devices like smartphones and smart home gadgets.
Wait, so my smart refrigerator could be a gateway for hackers. That's a bit unsettling. What exactly are they finding in this report?
Well, one alarming statistic is the 45% increase in blocked IoT malware transactions compared to last year. This shows that cybercriminals are increasingly targeting these often less secure devices as entry points into our networks.
So it's not just about protecting our computers and phones anymore. It's about securing our entire digital ecosystem, from our laptops to our light bulbs. But before we get lost in the world of smart toasters gone rogue, let's circle back to Zscaler's overall outlook. Are they optimistic about the future given all these evolving threats?
They are, and their financial projections reflect that optimism. For the second quarter of fiscal year 2025, they expect revenue to be between $633 million and $635 million. And for the full fiscal year, they're projecting revenue in the range of $2.623 billion to $2.643 billion.
Those are some ambitious targets. And what about their profitability? Are they confident they can maintain those impressive margins as they scale?
They've provided a projected non-GAAP income from operations range of $549 million to $559 million for the full fiscal year, indicating their confidence in maintaining and even improving their profitability. They've also made a notable change in their non-GAAP reporting, shifting to a long-term projected non-GAAP tax rate of 23%.
So they're aiming for consistency and transparency in their financial reporting. That's a good sign for investors. But what does this shift actually mean for the average person?
It basically means they're trying to simplify things and provide a more predictable picture of their earnings. Regardless of fluctuations in tax laws, it helps everyone understand the underlying performance trends without getting bogged down in complex accounting details.
So it's like they're saying, we're doing well, we're going to keep doing well, and here's a clear way to see that. That's refreshing. But while their financial performance is certainly impressive, I'm more interested in what it means for the future of cybersecurity. Are they just reacting to current threats, or are they actively shaping the landscape?
They're definitely playing a proactive role. Their investment in AI, their strategic partnerships, and their focus on zero-trust security all point towards a vision of a more secure digital future. But the question remains, how will this evolving threat landscape impact our lives in the years to come? And what role will companies like Zscaler play in shaping that future?
That's a question we'll continue to explore as we dive deeper into their Threat Labs report and uncover the insights they've gleaned from analyzing millions of cyber threats. Stay tuned for part 2 of this deep dive, where we'll unravel the complexities of the evolving cybersecurity landscape and what it means for all of us. Don't go anywhere.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We just scratched the surface of Zscaler's performance and their vision for the future of cybersecurity. Now let's dig a little deeper into their approach. Their commitment to research and development really caught my eye.
Absolutely. Their SEC filing reveals they poured $154.2 million into R&D this past quarter alone. That's a substantial investment, especially considering their already strong market position.
It's like they're saying, we're not just resting on our laurels, we're actively shaping the future of cybersecurity. But what does this investment actually translate to? Are they developing groundbreaking new technologies or just tweaking existing ones?
Their heavy focus on AI-driven security is a prime example. They're not just using AI to identify known threats, they're leveraging its power to predict and proactively defend against emerging threats.
So they're trying to anticipate the moves of cybercriminals before they even happen. That's some next-level security right there. And their financial statements show they're not just spending money, they're generating it too. Their cash flow statement highlights $331.3 million in cash from operations this quarter.
That's a clear indicator of their financial health and their ability to convert revenue into cash flow, which can then be reinvested into further growth and innovation.
It's like a positive feedback loop. Strong performance fueling further innovation, leading to even stronger performance. But I noticed something on their balance sheet, a large sum listed under Convertible senior notes. Should this raise any eyebrows?
It's a common way for companies to raise capital, particularly those focused on growth. These notes can be converted into Zscaler stock under certain conditions, which can sometimes lead to concerns about dilution of existing shares.
So could these notes potentially impact the value of existing stock for investors?
Potentially, yes. But Zscaler has cleverly implemented capped call transactions to mitigate that risk. Essentially, these transactions act as a safeguard, limiting the number of shares that can be issued if the notes are converted.
Okay, so it's a calculated risk with measures in place to minimize potential downsides. It seems like they're taking a strategic approach to managing their finances while still prioritizing growth. But let's shift gears and talk about the broader implications of their success. What does Zscaler's growth and innovation mean for the cybersecurity industry as a whole?
They're setting a new standard, demonstrating that robust security and rapid growth aren't mutually exclusive. Their commitment to innovation, particularly in AI and zero-trust security, is influencing the entire industry.
Right, it's like they're raising the bar, forcing competitors to step up their game or risk being left behind. And their partnerships with industry leaders like CrowdStrike and Okta are creating a more integrated and collaborative approach to cybersecurity.
Absolutely. It's about moving away from siloed solutions and towards a more holistic approach, recognizing that security threats are multifaceted and require a coordinated response.
It's like they're building a united front against cybercrime, assembling a team of specialists, each bringing their unique expertise to the table. But with all this focus on AI and automation in cybersecurity, what happens to the human element? Are we headed towards a world where cybersecurity is entirely managed by algorithms?
Well, that's a question many people are asking, and it's a valid concern. While AI will undoubtedly play an increasingly critical role, I believe human expertise will remain essential. Think of it this way. AI can be incredibly efficient at detecting and responding to known threats, but it's humans who possess the critical thinking skills, contextual understanding, and intuition to anticipate and address novel attacks.
So it's not about replacing humans, it's about empowering them with AI tools to enhance their capabilities.
Precisely. It's about creating a synergy between human intelligence and artificial intelligence, leveraging the strengths of both to build a truly robust security posture.
It's like giving cybersecurity professionals superpowers, enabling them to tackle increasingly sophisticated threats. But let's talk about Zscaler's unique approach to delivering these security solutions. Their massive, globally distributed cloud security platform is a key differentiator.
You're talking about their Zero Trust Exchange platform, right?
Yeah.
The one handling that mind-boggling 500 billion transactions daily. Yeah, it's like the internet's central nervous system for security.
Exactly. And this cloud-based approach seems to be a game changer. It allows them to protect users and applications regardless of their location or device.
That's right. It aligns perfectly with the increasingly mobile and cloud-centric nature of work and life in general. We're no longer tethered to a specific location or device, and security needs to adapt accordingly.
It's like having a virtual security shield that travels with you wherever you go online. No more being confined to the corporate network for protection. But are there any potential downsides or risks associated with relying so heavily on a single cloud platform for security?
That's a valid question. Reliance on any single platform, even one as robust as Zscaler's, can theoretically create a single point of failure. If their platform experiences an outage or disruption, it could have significant repercussions for their customers.
That's a bit concerning. It's like putting all your cybersecurity eggs in one basket. What measures have they taken to mitigate that risk?
Well, Zscaler has invested heavily in redundancy and resilience, distributing their platform across multiple data centers worldwide. So even if one data center experiences an issue, the others can seamlessly pick up the slack, ensuring uninterrupted service for their customers.
So they've built in a safety net, essentially creating a distributed network that's less susceptible to localized disruptions. But what about the risk of security breaches? Could Zscaler's own platform be compromised?
It's a concern they take very seriously. They employ multiple layers of security, including state-of-the-art encryption, intrusion detection systems, and rigorous security audits to safeguard their platform from external threats.
So they're not just protecting their customers, they're protecting themselves with equal vigilance. It's like having a security guard for the security guard, ensuring that the very system designed to protect others is itself protected. But let's be realistic, no system is entirely impenetrable. What happens if, despite all their efforts, Zscaler experiences a security breach?
Well, that's where their incident response plan comes into play. They have a dedicated team of experts trained to respond swiftly and effectively to any security incident, minimizing the impact and ensuring rapid recovery.
So they have a rapid response team ready to address any breaches swiftly and effectively. It sounds like they've taken a comprehensive approach to security, from preventing breaches to mitigating their impact should they occur. But what does this all mean for the future of cybersecurity? Are we headed towards a world where these sophisticated solutions are only accessible to large corporations, or can individuals benefit as well?
That's a great question. And while Zscaler primarily caters to large enterprises, their solutions are designed to scale and adapt to the needs of a wide range of organizations, including smaller businesses and even individuals.
So even individuals can potentially benefit from these advanced security solutions. That's good news, especially as our digital lives become increasingly intertwined. But I'm curious, with all this talk about AI and automation, will cybersecurity eventually become a battle fought entirely by machines?
It's an interesting thought. While AI will undoubtedly continue to play a more prominent role in cybersecurity, I believe that human expertise will remain essential. The human element, with its ability to think critically, understand context, and anticipate novel threats, will continue to be a crucial element of a robust security posture.
So it's about finding the right balance between human ingenuity and AI's computational power. It's a partnership, not a replacement. But with the rapid pace of technological advancement, it's hard to predict how this relationship will evolve in the years to come.
That's true. The cybersecurity landscape is constantly evolving, and we need to stay agile and adapt to new challenges as they emerge. But one thing is certain, cybersecurity is no longer just an IT issue. It's an integral aspect of our daily lives.
That's a point worth emphasizing. From our smartphones to our smart homes, our digital footprint is constantly expanding, and so are the risks. It's more important than ever to be aware of those risks and take proactive steps to protect ourselves. But before we jump into individual responsibility, let's delve deeper into the specific threats Zscaler's Threat Labs report has uncovered. What's lurking in the shadows of the digital world?
That's where it gets really interesting. The report dives deep into why mobile and IoT devices are becoming prime targets for cybercriminals. And those alarming statistics we touched on earlier, the 45% increase in blocked IoT malware transactions year over year, well, the report helps explain why.
Okay, so it's time to face our fears and explore the dark side of the internet. Stay tuned for part 3, where we unpack the chilling details of the evolving threat landscape and what it means for all of us. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've covered a lot of ground, from Zscaler's impressive financials to their innovative use of AI. But now it's time to face the music and explore the dark side of this interconnected world. The actual threats looming out there.
Right. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of new technologies and forget that there are people actively trying to exploit those same technologies for malicious purposes.
Right. And Zscaler's Threat Labs report really shines a light on the dangers we often overlook. Remember that 45% surge in blocked IoT malware transactions we discussed earlier?
Oh, yeah.
Well, the report delves into why these seemingly harmless devices are becoming such prime targets for cybercriminals.
You know, think about it. We've got smart TVs, smart refrigerators, even smart toothbrushes these days. Each one of these devices is a potential entry point for hackers if they're not properly secured. It's like leaving a back door wide open to your entire digital life.
So it's not just about protecting our computers and phones anymore. Our entire digital ecosystem is vulnerable, from our laptops to our light bulbs. What makes these devices so susceptible to attacks?
Well, often these devices have weaker security protocols compared to traditional computers or smartphones. They may lack built-in firewalls or have outdated software, making them low-hanging fruit for attackers. Plus, we tend to connect these devices to our home networks and forget about them, neglecting those crucial security updates.
Out of sight, out of mind until it's too late. What are some of the common threats targeting these devices, according to the report?
One alarming trend is the surge in botnet activity. Hackers take control of multiple devices, often without the owners even realizing it, and use them to launch large-scale attacks. Imagine your smart coffee maker unwittingly participating in a DDoS attack, crippling websites and online services.
That's a terrifying thought. My coffee maker, a cyber criminal. But why target these devices? Is it just about causing chaos, or are there more sinister motives at play?
Well, while some attackers are motivated by disruption, many are driven by financial gain. They could be stealing sensitive data from these devices, using them to mine cryptocurrency, or even holding them hostage for ransom.
It sounds like the Wild West out there. but in the digital realm. So what can we as everyday users do to protect ourselves? Or are we just sitting ducks in this interconnected world?
Not at all. There are steps we can take to mitigate these risks. First and foremost, be mindful of the devices you connect to your home network. Make sure they have strong, unique passwords. Enable two-factor authentication if possible, and keep their software up to date. It's like locking your doors and windows. Basic security hygiene goes a long way.
Okay, that seems manageable. What else can we do to bolster our defenses?
Consider investing in a robust home network security solution, like a firewall or a secure router. This adds an extra layer of protection between your devices and the outside world, like having a guard dog patrolling your digital perimeter.
So we're building a digital fortress around our homes. But what about when we venture out into the world using public Wi-Fi networks at coffee shops or airports? Aren't those notoriously risky?
You're right, public Wi-Fi networks can be a hacker's playground. They can easily intercept data transmitted over unsecured connections using a VPN or virtual private network, encrypts your internet traffic, making it much harder for snoopers to steal your data, even on public Wi-Fi. Think of it as a secret tunnel shielding your data from prying eyes.
Got it. Strong passwords, software updates, home network security, and VPNs. It's a lot to keep track of. Is it realistic to expect everyone to implement all these measures?
It's definitely a shared responsibility. Device manufacturers need to prioritize security from the get-go. Internet service providers can play a role in educating their customers. And individuals need to take those proactive steps to protect themselves. It's about creating a culture of cybersecurity awareness, where everyone understands the risks and takes responsibility for their own digital safety.
It's like a neighborhood watch, but for the digital world.
We all need to be looking out for each other. And that's where reports like this one from ZScaler Threat Labs are so valuable, right? They shed light on the evolving threat landscape and empower individuals and organizations to make informed decisions about their security posture.
Absolutely. It's about understanding the risks, staying ahead of the curve, and adapting our security strategies accordingly. And with companies like ZScaler investing heavily in AI and cloud-based security solutions, we're seeing powerful tools emerge that can help us navigate this increasingly complex digital world more safely. So we've explored ZScaler's impressive performance, delved into their innovative approaches to cybersecurity, and even faced the reality of the evolving threat landscape. What's the key takeaway for our listeners?
Cybersecurity is no longer just an IT issue. It's a fundamental aspect of our daily lives. It's like personal hygiene. We all need to develop good digital habits to protect ourselves and those around us.
It's about recognizing that we're all part of this interconnected ecosystem. And our security depends not only on individual actions, but also on the collective efforts of companies like ZScaler, security researchers, and policymakers working together to create a more secure digital world.
Exactly. It's about proactive awareness, continuous learning, and a collective commitment to cybersecurity. We can't afford to be complacent in this ever-evolving digital landscape.
Well said. And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into ZScaler. Thanks for joining us. Remember, stay vigilant, stay informed, and stay secure. Until next time.